everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a brand new speed build, this time doing a suburban build. So I've had such a mad busy week this last week. I've been working away on a collaboration and I've been doing and kind of testing out a few different builds in my little kind of build list of builds to do. I've been wanting to do lots of different types of builds because sometimes I just like to change things up. I like to challenge myself. Definitely as a builder, I'm still learning lots of new things, and I think the best way to learn sometimes is just to get stuck in the deep end of a style that you're not completely comfortable with. But every now and then I do still like to come back to my favourite style, and that's the suburban house. So I decided to do kind of a big family suburban house, just in my mind what I would see as like a really good suburban big family home. This is Ellesmere Avenue. It's a 4-bed, 3-bathroom build, and it's built on the 40 by 40 lot in Brindleton Bay. And it comes in at just less than 256,000 simoleons, so it's still an expensive build. There was lots of packs used in this. It wasn't a restricted pack build. I just wanted to have a lot of fun and really just come up with a really nice family home. At the same time though, I do still like to try lots of different things, and you'll see a little bit later on down the line that I do something quite different with the fencing, and I really do love suburban builds, and in all honesty I just never get bored of them because I'm constantly trying sort of different styles, different sort of things that I can do to change it up. I tried some different things with the walls and different things in the gardens, and I just really enjoyed building this build. There is absolutely no doubt about the fact that suburban builds are my ultimate favourite build. So I was actually really happy with the way this house came out. I really wanted to kind of, again, reflect its environment. This is actually set on the 40 by 40 lot in Brindleton Bay, the one that's sat right on the coast. So I decided colour-wise to use lots of kind of bluish, seasidey type colours for the exterior, and it did take me a while to get there. It always does, to be honest. When I come to do the kind of colours for the exterior, I tend to gravitate towards similar colours, and I kind of force myself to change it up. So sometimes one of my big tips is to create a wall in front of the house and just layer down some different wallpapers and come up with some wallpapers that complement each other, and just really try it out and swap and change around. I mean, I think even after doing the windows here, I'm still changing up and trying different wallpapers, but I was really happy with the way that it turned out, and the colours that, you know, I finally went for were really quite nice, and I'd say quite nice and cool, and it felt like it went really well for kind of a coastal suburban home. So I also, at the moment, am trying my very best to step away from the Seasons windows because they're absolutely my favourite windows. But with this particular build in the end, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to use them. They're there for using, and that's exactly what I'm going to do because they just look so nice. And like I said before, they come in so many different like shapes and sizes, and the colours are really kind of versatile as well. So it makes it really difficult not to use them, but I really love these windows, and I was happy with the way that it looked in the end, so it was well worth using them. So over the last couple of builds, I've done quite dark interiors, lots of kind of dark, woody, earthy tones. And that's really because the types of builds that are built with the lake house and the sort of like Spanish type villa, it was because of the theme of those houses why I ended up going for quite a dark interior. So with this house, I just wanted to do the opposite. I just wanted it to be a nice, big, light, fun family home. So yeah, there's a lot of lighter tones inside this house as opposed to lots of dark ones. But as you can see here, I'm doing something a little bit different with the walls. I didn't really know what I was doing, and in all honesty, this is the best thing I love about The Sims, because I think at this point in the game I was just completely immersed into building, and you know, you just sort of kind of zone out, or I do anyway. I kind of zone out and just try lots of different things. But again, at the front of the house, I've used these little walls on the outside, and sometimes you'll notice that with a couple of builds in a row, I'll find something which I really love, and I'll keep doing it. And it's not always a good thing, but you know, especially when you're trying to make your builds different. But I really love those walls. They are absolutely some of my favourites. So yeah, I kind of like the effect that it gave. Whether it's realistic or not, it's probably not, but I just kind of like the way it looked. So yeah, I'm just working on the front garden at the moment, which there's not really a lot in the front garden because obviously, as you can see, it's quite small. I'd say the kind of garden area is fairly small overall, really, compared to some of the builds that I've done, but it doesn't go without lots of activities and skill building items. You know me, I like to put all of those items in so your Sims have got plenty to do outside. So I did go ahead and add in loads of planters down the side of the house. We've also got the flower arranging table as well, and we've got the pool in the back garden, a barbecue area and a set of swings. I also went ahead and put in the workbench as well, so there's absolutely loads to do even though this garden's fairly small. But as you can see here, I'm doing something a bit different and using those tiny little walls to kind of create a little bit of a border around the kind of planting area. I tend to use the stones quite a lot. Sometimes I use the stones big, sometimes I use them small, together, not together, and I get a little bit bored. I do wish we had a few more items that could kind of line borders of you know, like planting areas, because obviously we can't use the fencing in a curved way unless it's like a set curve. I totally know what I mean. You probably don't. I know what I mean though, and it makes sense. But yeah, so I decided to kind of use these walls and see if I could create something. They're probably a little bit big. I think looking at it now, I maybe could have sized them down, but I did sort of like the effect it gave, and I'll probably use that method in the future and just kind of play around with it and see what I can come up with. So something that's a little bit different about the chimneys in this house is the chimney at the front is actually on an angle. I can't even speak. It's on an angle and it's situated just off the turret at the front of the house. Now, I'm often asked where I get my inspiration from, and ever since I was a little girl, I've had kind of a massive fascination with big, beautiful houses. I'm just quite into all that kind of stuff and, you know, architecture and things like that. I've just always loved beautiful houses. And I would say that I get my inspiration from real life, you know, from big, gorgeous houses near to where I grew up. I'd say I get them from Pinterest, Google. You can get your inspiration from absolutely anywhere, but I got my inspiration for this chimney from a house that I saw on Pinterest, which had this chimney on an angle on the front of the house, and I thought, that looks a little bit different. I might try it. But the chimneys are actually redundant. I put one on the side of the house as well, but I didn't actually place any chimneys in because there's a big one on the roof. Now, I love placing chimneys on my houses. I think they look really beautiful. But when your Sims light the fire and all of the chimneys release smoke, it looks like the house is on fire. So sometimes I will build these chimneys just to look at, and I'll add like maybe one real one just so that when your Sims do light it, it looks a little bit more realistic. I'd say a lot of the time when I do my building, always in my mind I'm trying to do very quite realistic looks. You know, I love fantasy builds. I'm not against fantasy builds at all. I think it's fantastic because obviously it's just very creative. But for me, my personal style is I always try to make them look as realistic as I can. But obviously it is The Sims, as I always say, and there are always going to be elements that aren't so realistic. But yeah, I've always got that in my mind. So hence me kind of like leaving out the extra chimneys and things like that. I am just rambling at this point, by the way. So I'm just finishing off the garden at the moment, obviously adding in lots of little details, just filling out, you know, around the bottom of the trees, doing all the shading, just making sure that everything's as I like it to be. I'd say I kind of work on the exterior until I'm completely happy, but always at the end of a build, I always go back over the build and make sure I've got things like the mailbox, the outdoor bin, and, you know, just making sure that everything is absolutely perfect. And yeah, you know, I was really happy with the exterior of this build. But I'm just moving on to the interior now, and with this kitchen, I was trying to force myself to use a different coloured counter. I really like those kind of like warm orange counters, but for some reason it wasn't working, and I just wanted to go for something, you know, that I felt comfortable with and just build something that was sort of complemented the outside of the house as well. So I went for like this kind of like stone wash wall, which I think I've been doing that in a few kitchens recently, but I do really love the way a stone wall looks in a house. In a house that I grew up in, we actually had a big stone featured wall, and I do think they're really nice, but they're kind of quite awkward to clean. But yeah, anyway, that's the style that I went with. I'd say overall in this house, I just went for very sort of light tones, very pastel-y type tones. I did try to obviously inject a bit of colour into it as well. I didn't want it to be too bland, but I would just say the style of it is very kind of homely. And when I say homely, I mean like just it feels like a really nice cozy family home, like quite a modern family home. So yeah, I have had such a busy week. Like I say, I've been working on a collaboration, that's all done and it's ready to go. And this week's just been a nightmare, to be honest. Like, well, you know, it is my life. Which week isn't a nightmare at the moment? I think every time I do a video, I'm like, oh, I've had a nightmare. But yeah, this week's just it's been hard because my youngest daughter is 18 months old and she's teething this week and she's not going for her naps properly. She's, you know, quite restless at night. So the only time I get to build is obviously in the evenings when all the kids are in bed and I've got some downtime. So when she's awake during those periods or when she goes for a nap during the day, I tend to do some building then. If she's awake, then obviously I lose out on that building time. So ordinarily I would have had this build probably up on the Thursday, which would have been yesterday by the time I post this. But yeah, it just wasn't possible. Sometimes real life gets in the way and obviously my children will always come first. So it's been a bit crazy this week. But I've been working really hard and I can't wait to share the collaboration with you as well. It has been a build that some people have requested, but I won't put out any spoilers at all. So yeah, that will be coming up fairly soon as well. That will probably be the next speed build that I do. So I just have to say, this living area that I'm finishing off now has got to be one of my absolute favourites. The tones that are used in that room were just really warm and I loved what I did with the fireplace. And I can't really tell you my thought process when I'm doing things like that because I literally make this stuff up. And what I would say when people ask me a lot of the time about tips for builders, I would say don't be afraid to kind of try new things and, you know, kind of work with different objects and use them together, use them on top of each other, just try lots of different things. And that's why I'm such a fan of the move objects cheat as well. I don't ever build without move objects because it just allows you to be that bit more creative with the items that are in the game and you can come up with some fantastic combinations. One of my good friends, Sim Architecture, is just really good at doing that, at having objects and using them in different ways. And I'm always really interested in builders that do that kind of thing. It just really fascinates me. So yeah, I would say a tip would be, you know, don't be afraid to kind of try new things and work with different objects. But yeah, coming back to the build, I'm just working on a little office at the moment. Now, I actually furnished this today and I have to say I was absolutely shattered. I've had a couple of really late nights and obviously, like I say, my daughter's teething, so it's just been a bit hairy this week. So I must admit today I was so tired and it got to, I think, 6 o'clock and I said to my husband, I'm going to have to lie down. I'm going to have an hour's sleep because I've got to finish this video off tonight and I am literally flagging. So I think I was doing that study and I think when I'm tired I just can't be as effective with rooms and building and ideas. So yeah, I ended up downing tools at one point and I went for a sleep. I had about an hour's sleep. I woke up feeling so rough, it was unbelievable. But yeah, I came back to building and I was determined to finish it off. And The thing is I do like to upload, I'd say once every 3 days, ideally with big builds. You know, that's kind of like the time frame that I go for. But if I'm ever in a situation like this week when, you know, I have got a lot of things on, or real life is kind of imposing on my time, build time and things like that, I will still take my time with a build, because I never want to put out something that I don't feel like I've put 110% into, because, you know, I am a bit of a perfectionist like that, and I do like to, you know, upload builds that I think, you know, are my absolute sort of 110% best effort, if that makes sense. But just so you know, it is actually 10 to 12 at night at the moment, so if I sound like a rambling mess, I do apologise. I actually got a comment the other day and it said, please stop speaking and add music over your videos. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you press mute and play your own music? I was like, if you don't like my rambling, well, tough, because that's what I'm doing, and like it or lump it. So, but yeah, I do apologise. And if you ever do get sick of me talking about lots of random rubbish, then feel free, as I say, to mute the video and play your own music. I will not be offended whatsoever. So with regards to the bedrooms in this house, there are 4 bedrooms. We've got the master bedroom. I did kind of like a teen boys, very grown up bedroom, which had like the double bed in it. That was one of my favourite rooms, actually. I really like the tones in that room. This is kind of like a double girly twin bedroom, and I messed around with this bedroom a lot, and I was very indecisive about it, and it drove me up the wall. This rug must have been changed about 50 times during this actual like making of this room. So but yeah, I was quite happy with the way it turned out in the end. But the last bedroom is a twin boys toddler bedroom. Like I say, I always like to kind of add bedrooms in for sims of different age groups, because obviously being a big family home, there's going to be people of all different ages. So I just like to try and put in a little bit of everything. That way it's a bit more of a versatile build. So I hope you've all had a fantastic week, one that's been more relaxing than mine. And I hope you all have a brilliant weekend, whatever your plans may be. Like I say, I've got a collaboration coming up soon, so keep an eye out for that. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, it would be amazing to have you on board. But yeah, have a good one, guys. I'm actually off to bed now, so sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
Some people have written books, some have a great look that covers some magazines for kids who are 17. But I don't know what to do. I'm staring into the blue sky and just waiting for a sign. Someday are certain of what awaits them when it all ends. But I don't know what will happen to me. Will I be remembered in a century? Will I be forgotten like dust in the wind, or the talk of the town that we are living in? Well, I don't know, I don't know. How could I know what lies ahead of me? Am I part of a grander master plan? Will I be washed away like lines in the sand? Some people that put their faith into someone who's half their age, reading from a torn out page from a book filled with lies. But I don't know what to do. I'm staring into the blue sky and just waiting for a sign.